Welcome to another edition of Soul Fire Ascension with Raven and Lisa Love Light. Raven is an aura, past life regression, and clinical hypnotherapist, a quantum galactic Akashic reader, raw Reiki angelic alchemy healing practitioner, and Yushui Reiki master. Raven also offers one-on-one spiritual consultations. Book your free 15-minute discovery Zoom call with Raven at ravenshealingarts.com. Lisa is an aura practitioner, raw Reiki quantum galactic Akashic reader, Yushui Reiki master, and offers one-on-one soul coaching sessions. For questions or booking sessions, you can message her at sacredheartquantumhealing.com or at myabundanceflows247@aol.com. You can watch Soulfire Ascension on YouTube and Rumble. You can also listen to Soulfire Ascension on Spotify. Please do like, share, and subscribe, and we hope you enjoy the show. Greetings. Welcome to another edition of Soul Fire Ascension. And we have an awesome guest with us today, Terri Jay, the Cowgirl Shaman. Let me play her video for you. Soul Fire Ascension welcomes our special guest, Terri Jay. Terri Jay has been providing readings for over 35 years as a medium, intuitive, animal communicator, and life coach. She helps people coping with loss and works with clients who have communication disorders such as autism, Alzheimer, brain injuries, and comatose states. Terri also practices remote viewing and sensing, offering highly detailed readings. Her journey began in 1990 with horseback therapy in Reno, where she discovered her telepathic connection with disabled children and animals. Now working full-time, Terri offers readings by phone and in person, leads national workshops, hosts shows at casinos, and is currently writing her 4th book. She makes her home in Carson Valley, Nevada, with her husband, horses, and dogs. Join us live on August 22nd, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you missed the live broadcast, you can catch the replay on YouTube and on Rumble at Soulfire Ascension, or listen anytime on Spotify. And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe to Soulfire Ascension for more inspiring conversations. Yay!
That was really nice.
Thank you.
I want to know who the first lady was, though. That wasn't me.
Really?
No, yeah, really, that wasn't me.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. It was a good-looking gal. I'll take it if you want to pretend it's me. Yeah, she's good-looking.
There you go.
I would never complain about that.
Wow. With all the stuff you do, where do we even start?
I know. If I may, when did you discover that you were able to communicate?
I was doing horseback therapy with disabled kids in 1990, and I picked a kid out of his wheelchair and put him on the back of one of the horses, and he said, "Hey, ouch, I've got a cramp in my hip." And I looked at him and I said, "You have a cramp? Well, here, sit this way. It'll take the cramp out." That's pretty normal with a quad CP child. And he said, "Hey, you can hear me?" And I said, "Well, of course I can hear you." It didn't dawn on me at the time that he was nonverbal and we were carrying on a conversation. So when we were done, I took him off the horse and put him back in his wheelchair, and he went back to class. And the gal that was helping me, she said, boy, he's sure talking good. And I said, well, he's very bright. Just because he's got CP doesn't necessarily mean he has any cognitive issues. And she looked at me and she said, Terry, he didn't say a word. He can't remember. And if I was a horse, I would have done a buck fart snort, because they do all three of those things at one time when they're spooked. I was spooked. So I went into the classroom and they put a band around his head with a pointer, and he had typed out "horse lady can hear me." So I had confirmation immediately.
Wow. Angel bumps. That's amazing.
Yeah. So then I stood there talking with him, realizing that we were having this completely telepathic conversation. So that was my start. And then I just wanted to, I was really naive at the time. I didn't know anything about this. I mean, I'd never had cards done. I'd never been to, a psychic or anything. And I actually thought all of it was a bunch of hooey. I really did. And so for me to learn it was really, I'm still learning. I learn new stuff today. So I'm always learning about how to do it, how to listen better, how to stay out of my own way, just all of it. It's always a process. I just love it.
Wow.
I can only imagine having a conversation so beautiful.
It was pretty amazing. And when I went outside, I told the gal that was helping me what happened in the classroom. And she said, very matter of fact, well, if you can hear, telepathic communication with a child, you ought to learn to communicate with the horses, because all animals are telepathic. And I thought, God, I didn't know that. So, and there were no books at the time. I think there was, Penelope Smith's book, Animal Talk, which really didn't help. I'm sorry, but it didn't help. And then somebody gave me the book called You Are Psychic by Pete Sanders Jr., but I hate the P word, because psychic means not of the physical sciences. And I know all the work that I do is completely based in physics, energy, frequency, and vibration. So that was the start of my journey. And I always had a gazillion horses around from, doing the program. And it was really interesting because I started communicating with the autistic kids that were in the program. And I could get them to do, the vaulting moves because we did vaulting, which is gymnastics on horseback. And the teachers would just shake their head like, how'd you get him to do that? Well, I would just picture it and send them the feeling of what it feels like. And then the kids could do it. They could do, because we mostly worked on the compulsory exercises for vaulting. And it just worked out great. It really did.
Wow. And so all that started with one child.
Yes, absolutely.
And it just kind of snowballed into.
Yeah. Well, and I worked with a couple of energy healers early on, and one of them really challenged me. And she'd call me sometimes 4 or 5 times a day. Can you look at something, over the phone? Can I look at something?
Yeah, hold it up to the phone.
but anyway, I mean, I do that now. I've trained a couple people, and when I want to get a couple people that are friends. And I've trained lots and lots of people, but these people are my friends. And so if I want to get feedback on something, I'll call and go, can you look at something? Oh, sure. Let me ground just a minute, and we just go from there. It's so fun.
So it snowballed. When did you know that you could do this with animals as well?
That was right from the get-go. That was right from the beginning, because I love animals, and I love horses especially. And I think when I was learning this, I had like 24 horses at the time, because I was married to a really, really gifted horse trainer. And if he wasn't an alcoholic, we'd probably still be married. But so he always had training horses, and I had the program's horses, the handicap riding program's horses. And so there were always horses to talk to. And it just came really easy. It's like somebody just flipped a switch with me. And then not too far into it, I thought, how am I doing this? Because I wanted to take the woo-woo out of it. And that's when I was able to start my first book. It took like 10 years to write, but I just figured out, the steps that I'm taking to do this.
Now you have 3 books.
Yes.
And you're writing your 4th. What are your first 3?
The first 3 are the ones that you showed. The Cowgirl Shaman Way, 7 Easy Steps to Develop Your Intuitive Abilities, the first one. And that gives you a broad range of all the kinds of things that you can use this for, and some fun things, some silly things. I used to dress up like a gypsy fortune teller and do corporate events, and they wouldn't expect you to be real. So it was pretty fun. And then the second one I wrote under duress, and it's called Intuitive Communication, Communicating with People Who Cannot, or Those Who Cannot. And that is for like nonverbal autistic populations, coma, persistent vegetative state, neuromuscular diseases, strokes, people that are aphasic from strokes and things. And it's really written for first responders, special education teachers, and caregivers of these special needs kids. And the third book, I wanted to take the woo-woo out of mediumship, because so many people want to make it mystical. No, I'm special. I have gifts. It's like, no, you don't. Anybody can do this. And I think it's really important when you're grieving to know that you can still maintain that contact, especially with our pets. People, it's like we're more understanding of it. We just understand it. But with our pets, it's just devastating for some reason. It just gives you, I can't explain why it's just more grieving than for animals than it is for humans. But I found that to be really true. And I'm not trying to take anything away from people that have lost, human loved ones, but it's like our pets are just, oh my goodness, they're so important. And so that book, The Physics of Mediumship, I wrote so that anybody can learn to communicate with those who are on the other side.
Wow. And with that being said, you do have classes to teach people to communicate?
Yeah. I'm happy to go anywhere, in the United States where people want to do a workshop. I do travel and do workshops, and everybody gets the book ahead of time. So by the time we get there, the first half is just questions and answers, and then we break for lunch, and then the afternoon I pair people up and they start doing readings for each other that fast. So it's so easy once you learn the method. And so many of them go, am I really doing this? And they really are. It's so fun. So I'm doing that, and I love to do shows. I've done a couple casino shows in Reno, and I just love doing it. It's so fun.
And so you also offer classes for people individually?
Yes. Yeah. And all that's available on my website. You can just go to the products page. And you can, sign up for, I think I've got 1 hour, 3 hour, and whole day workshops that we do in person. And of course, we can do them by Zoom too.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's a nice kitty.
This is Boo Kitty.
I think your kitty needs less groceries.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Well,
Yeah, she was a street kitty. She was a street girl, but now she's living in the house.
Yeah, be careful because they can get diabetes really early, really easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had one that was diabetic for 4 years, and she lived to 19. I couldn't believe it.
Wow. That's a long time for a cat to live.
Oh, yeah.
When they have a condition like that.
Oh, yeah. What's really funny is every time I think about how long one of my animals have lived, I hear guidance say at the top of their lungs, Terri, it's not a contest. Because I'm always thinking, wow, that horse is 39. Woo.
Yeah, she's actually had her last vet visit. Doc said she was really in good shape, and she was good. So
good. Yeah, it's important to get blood work, especially when they get to be seniors, so that you can, get kind of a baseline on how they're doing.
Yeah, she's only a couple of years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're so cute. That cat feels like a reincarnation too, like you've had that spirit in another body.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Are you my Disney girl?
She's really bonded to you, and it doesn't feel new. It feels like several lifetimes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They always come back to us. That's one of the coolest things about reincarnation with our pets. Oh my goodness. I lost 3 dogs in 4 years, and when the last one went, a couple months later, I got one. And then another couple months after that, I got another one. These are puppies, and it's so weird because all 3 of the spirits of the animals that passed are in both of the dogs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's only one rule when it comes to reincarnation, and that's with God, all things are possible.
There you go. I like that rule.
Yeah.
And that's incredible that they wanted to come back with you.
Well, I think they just, the love is the major connection. That's the biggie. The love is the connection. But, they give us so much. They really do. They teach us about unconditional love. They're just incredible.
That's true. Every animal I've had has taught me something about that,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And I look at mine now. I've got 2 crazy cattle dogs, and they're nuts.
Well, I used to have dogs, and I used to show and train Afghan hounds, but I haven't had dogs in years. So now I have 2 little black kitties.
Yep. And the dog spirits can be in the cats too. I mean, like I said, they can come back in many different ways.
Awesome. Yeah, she's my snuggle bug. I love her.
They're really important to our sanity, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, not that I don't enjoy coming home to my husband, because I do.
Well, sure.
I really enjoy coming home to my 2 kitties.
We won't tell him.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's Boo, and then we have Freya.
Oh, that's so cute.
And Freya has orange eyes.
Oh my goodness. I like the ones where their eyes look like opals. They're that turquoisey, yellowy green. They're just really beautiful. A lot of times you see that on white cats.
Mm-hmm.
That really pretty eye color.
And it's crazy how smart they are, to be honest with you.
Oh gosh, yeah. There's no doubt. I think our animals are changing, because we don't just treat them like companions. We treat them like friends now. It's very different than even 20 years ago. And I see so many dogs that actually try to enunciate their barks.
I've seen that too.
Yeah. They're getting the syllables.
Yeah. Especially huskies, because they can say,
oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, it's amazing that they really just try to talk to us, with vocalizations. But, I've seen the dogs with the buttons, that drives me knuckin' futz. It really does. Because what happens if there's no buttons? What happens if you get in the car and go to the park and the dog has to tell you something? You're not going to get it. And it's just so simple. It's so simple to learn to be telepathic. It's something we're born with. We're born with intuition, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, and claircognizance. We're all born with all of that. And we turn it off in childhood. So then it's just a matter of learning to turn it back on. And so that way you can communicate with your animals, wherever you are. You don't need any stupid buttons. I just shake my head at that, like, God, what a waste of time to, teach a dog to hit a button, because it's not going to help you unless the buttons are right there. What do people pick up the buttons and carry them with them when they take the dog to the park or the vet? No, you can't do that. It's unreasonable. But if you learn telepathy, you can communicate with them all the time.
So there's a question for Lisa from Deborah Williams. Do you still have 7 cats and your puppy? You going?
The number count off, but of course I do have all my kitties and Miss Delilah. Yes, I rescued her from. I live in an apartment on the 3rd floor, and I rescued her from the folks that lived below me. They were older, and this dog is full of life and full of zest. So
yeah, be real careful, Lisa, when you pick the dog up. Always support the hind end.
Okay.
Because you can cause subluxations and herniated discs and all kinds of things, especially when people pick dogs up facing them like a baby. You can pop ribs out and cause all kinds of spinal cord damage. So you always, whenever you pick up a dog, you want to do one hand under the chest and one hand under the butt, and then just pull it to you. So be real careful. And I will yell at anyone, I don't care who they are, if they pick their dog up wrong and I see it.
Awesome.
Because I want them to be, it's very uncomfortable, and you can watch them, they pull their hind feet toward you really quickly because it's so uncomfortable for them to be held like that. And when people hold their dog on their hips and the dog's scrambling with the back feet, trying to get a purchase and it can't. And so those dogs are much happier in a carrier. They really are, because they can have all 4 feet on the ground in the carrier. So just be really careful, because we don't want to have back issues with dogs.
Absolutely. And
yeah.
they can't feel when we touch them. So
right.
Same with
and
cats.
It's really funny. Cats are just different. The cats, they just don't have that. I don't know. They're more flexible, and they're like a slinky. You know what I mean? Where dogs are just solid. And so we really want to make sure we protect their backs. And the long-bodied dogs, like Doxies and Shih Tzus and, some of the other long-bodied dogs, the hounds, some of the hounds that are long-bodied, they have to have regular chiropractic. I mean, regular. Every couple months they need to get adjusted. And that really saves them from not being able to use their hind legs as they get older.
Yep. I see a lot of that with my 3D job is being a groomer. So
you see it? Sure.
Yeah, I see it all the time. And I've always, when I pick up my dogs, I always scoop them up by the arms and the butt, and carry them to the table. The little dogs, the big dogs, right. I don't pick up.
No, that's why you have an electric table that goes up and down.
Right. But I'm telling you, the dogs are getting bigger. They're almost as big as some horses, small horses.
Oh my God, yeah. I've seen that. Yeah. And it's sad because the bigger dogs don't live as long. I mean, I think if people knew that, they wouldn't get them.
Oh, yeah. Like the Irish Wolfhound lives an average of 7 years.
Yeah, same with Great Danes.
Yeah.
Somebody will tell me they have a 12-year-old Great Dane, and it's like, did you call Guinness for a world record?
So how long do horses live?
Well, it really just depends on their life and their lifestyle and the care that they've gotten. But my main riding horse right now is 25. His companion is 24. And there's horses competing well into their even late 20s in major events. I mean, if you went to the National Finals Rodeo, I think you'd be shocked at the age of some of those horses, especially the rope horses and some of the other competition horses. They're oldies but goodies. So
now
go ahead.
When you go to horse shows and things like that, do you find a lot of the horses speak to you, or?
I try not to go.
Okay.
The only reason I go to a rodeo is to do readings on my clients' horses or to shop. Those would be the only reasons that I would go, not to watch the competition. And I certainly they can't go to horse shows. Oh my goodness, they're showing babies, 2-year-old quarter horse classes. And oh my God, it just makes me so uncomfortable. And the gaits now make them look like they're crippled. Their gaits are so slow, they look like they're crippled. And so I just, things have changed since I was started showing as a teenager, and it's horrible. Most of it's horrible.
Mm.
So I really just try to just be there for my clients. And I do some in-person readings, but I prefer to do readings over the phone. I think I'm more clear because I'm not distracted by the physical. Like when you've been a horse person your whole life, it's natural for you to look at a horse and go, well, his pasterns are too long and he's too straight in the shoulder and I don't like the angles on his hind end. And, whereas if you tune into that horse, you're just going to get something completely different than the critique of their physical makeup, right? Mm-hmm. So I much rather do it over the phone.
Well, yeah, I think that you can communicate so much better.
Yeah, there's no distraction from the physical.
No.
Yeah.
And so you also communicate with people who are in a coma.
Yes. I have to tell you this. I had one client, she called me to find her lost cat. And I hear from guidance as I'm dialing, cat found. Oh, no, okay, well, I'll call her and see what she wants to do. She wants me to refund her money. And guidance screamed at me, man sick, man sick. Okay. So I called her and I said, I hear you found your cat. And she said, Terry, the cat's coming in the door right this minute. I said, okay, well, I'm happy to refund your money, but guidance is screaming at me, man sick. What is that? She says, oh, uncle's in the hospital with a ruptured brain aneurysm. They're asking to disconnect life support. I said, do you want to talk to him? And she says, well, he's in a coma. I said, I don't care. I can reach him. Oh my goodness, the details he gave me. Oh, he was like, please have somebody pay my bills. They're on this table right under the window, and then there's the plumeria growing outside. And I mean, the details he gave me were just incredible. So I talked to him, and it's so cute because it was like he was sitting on a fence. So I thought, hasn't decided if he's going to stay or go. So I asked him telepathically, would you like your family to try energy healing to see, if they can get this healed up? And he said, oh, sure. And so the family did energy healing on him with a healer that I know in San Diego. And the guy woke up out of the coma, went home and went back to work. No residual damage. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
Yes.
All for a lost cat. It's like the cat got lost
because
that was the cat, the list. I have to use that funny word to the phone call, which basically saved his life.
Yeah, and that was divine intervention, right?
Oh, there. For sure. But it was really, and it's really funny because the family says, before he had his aneurysm, he was kind of a jerk. And since he's had his aneurysm, he's still a jerk. You would think if somebody had a near-death experience and was brought back, that he would be, much changed, and he's not.
Wow.
But that's okay. But I love doing that. And the details that they tell me, there's no way I can know this stuff. I was talking to a guy one time, he was dying of a brain tumor. And he was screaming, stop making microwave popcorn. He could smell it. He couldn't communicate at all. But the smell of the popcorn was driving him nuts. Isn't that funny? And of course, by that point, he wasn't able to eat or anything. And then the other thing is he asked for a baby's head. It's not that he knew that there was a new baby in the family, and he wanted to smell the baby's head. His nose was still working. And so they put the baby on his chest so he could smell the baby's head. Isn't that cute?
Aww.
Yeah.
Sam Blue says, I thought you were going to say he became a better person.
Didn't happen. No. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. And Deborah says, phenomenal. It is. So, have you spoken to a person with dementia yet?
Oh, I do that all the time too. Yeah. Yeah,
And
because when you do that, you're connecting to their higher self.
okay, I was going to ask
Oh
if
my God, I knew it. I knew you were going to ask that.
right,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
I wondered.
you connect to their higher self because it's still in there. You know, the physical body is what can't communicate. The higher self is still there and available. Yeah.
Truly conscious of everything that's going on.
Yep. Yep.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I even had one lady, she was so delightful. And she was I guess her husband was one of her caregivers. And she says, he's still not making my coffee right. You know, I told him it's 2 sugars and, you know, this creamer, 2 spoons of this creamer, and he's just not making it right. It's just funny.
So I wonder how long you went with bad coffee.
It sounds like quite a bit of time. And of course, you know, I'm trying to be respectful, but half the time I just want to be hysterically laughing at the funny things that these people are telling me. And I'm trying to really be mature and respectful. And, you know, they're dealing with a very difficult situation. And I'm talking to the higher self is like, listen, make the coffee the way I want it. It's almost like they figure that if they can't verbalize their dissatisfaction with what's going on, then it doesn't matter what you feed them. Or and one lady in a nursing home. Oh my God, this was so funny. One lady in a nursing home, she lost her ability to speak, and so I was connecting to her for her daughter. And she's going, peas, they're feeding me peas. I hate peas. And she had no way to refuse it. So I told the daughter, she goes, I know she hates peas. That's on her list of foods not to give her. And I said, well, I guess they figure since she can't complain to anybody that it's okay to feed her peas. She hates them. So she did. She got it straightened out with the home that she was in, and they stopped feeding her peas.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, like I said, I can't make this stuff up. It's too bizarre. It's too specific. And the only way that I can know this information is if I'm absolutely connected to those who I'm connected to.
Wow. Have you ever like random happen to lead you to like something to help, similar to like your story with the cat and the gentleman with the coma? Have you ever just happened upon an animal or a person who was distressed that you had to help?
No, I really haven't had that experience. It will happen in a reading, but I will never ambush somebody with a reading. It's so unethical, and we know we have somebody on TV who does that all the time, and that is completely and utterly unethical to do that, because you don't know what mental and emotional state the person is in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, are they ready to receive the information?
Mm.
You don't know if somebody's going to go home and take their own life because of what you've just told them.
Okay.
You know, if somebody's, you know, so happy on the other side and everything's peachy on the other side and their loved one is here and can't get over the grieving, can't get through the grieving, they get these messages from the deceased person, and so they go, well, I'm going to go be with them. That's pretty dangerous, you know, to do that.
That's extremely dangerous.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that people miss when you're doing this work is ethics. You know, you have to have really impeccable ethics. And can I share something about mediumship too? We have to remember the physics of this. We are 99% energy. We're only 1% physical. So when we cross over and we leave our shells behind, only those things that are a vibrational match to source energy can go with us. So the happy stuff, the happy memories, the joy, the love, all that stuff can go with us to the other side. The pain, the suffering, the unfinished business, the regrets, all of that negative energy garbage gets left behind in the earthly realm. Many, many mediums do not have discernment, meaning they cannot tell the difference, or they don't differentiate between positive and negative energy. And they will share that negative energy garbage as if it is how the person is. Like, oh, they're stuck and they haven't crossed over, or they have unfinished business, or, and they'll share it as if it is how the person is in some ethereal state. And it's not. When they're doing that, they're basically dumpster diving. They're going into the garbage that the person has left behind. So if you're communicating with a person or an animal on the other side, you're only going to get positive stuff. And I know, and I've talked with other mediums that charge hellacious sums of money purportedly to get someone to the other side. And that is total BS. And they believe it. So because they believe it, then their client believes it, that it's necessary. And it's never necessary to do that. Everybody goes to the other side immediately, and everybody on the other side is just peachy frickin' keno. They are. And there's no such thing as unfinished business or regrets or anything negative. Nothing negative can go with them to the other side. So I think that's really important to note, that everybody goes right away.
That makes a lot of people, I'm sure, feel very good. I know it makes me feel very good.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
But I think that people that are purportedly helping people to cross, oh my goodness, it's a big business. And it's BS. It's not necessary ever. People pop out of their body and they kind of do the wet dog shake, like, oh, that felt weird. And they have a joygasm as they're leaving their body. And then they're just absolutely 100% fine. Everybody is. And they don't even, when you see those audiences where they go, somebody over here died of this and somebody over there died of that. Well, if they're doing that, they're dumpster diving, because nobody remembers how they died. Nobody does. It's negative. Why would they remember that? So even that is, and I've asked people, so how'd you die? I'm asking them telepathically, and they'll go, my heart stopped, like I'm an idiot, because they're just, nothing negative goes with them. Oh. So it's nice to know that. I think it's nice to know that, because a lot of people, it takes them a long time to die, and they, do a lot of, suffering or whatever. And it's hard. That's really hard. And it's hard for the families to watch. Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons why they have the designation of hospice for people, because they don't do an autopsy if somebody's in hospice and dies. And so it's also why they have sublingual morphine, because nobody cares how many you give somebody. And if that stops their heart, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
Sam Blue said it's really nice to know that. I agree with you, Sam. It is very nice to know that.
Yeah, but there's so many people that prey on people's vulnerability, when they're grieving. And I'm sorry, but when I do crossing over readings, I try to be respectful, but half the time I'm laughing my ass off because the people on the other side are so freaking funny. Oh my Lord. But you want to be respectful of the person that's here that's grieving. But most of the time I can, sort of gird my loins and be respectful and share the silly information at the same time. But
that's amazing.
When my mom died, she woke me up and she said, I did it. I said, you left your body? She said, yes. And then she socked me right in my bicep. One time I asked her, I said, why do you always see us kids there? And we're talking adult kids. She goes, because it doesn't show. That's how stinker my mom was. It still is. Anyway, she said, why didn't you tell me how incredible it was? I said, Mom, you didn't believe in an afterlife. She says, well, you should have tried harder to convince me. And I said, and I get my stubborn streak from who? She goes, that's beside the point. She goes, it's amazing. And then she says, I've got your pig. I said, what? She goes, I got your pig. In my 20s, I had a pet pig, and she was just a foster pig. We were just going to keep her for a while and then give her back just to, have the experience of owning a pig. She was really smart too. But anyway, and she goes, and all your horses are here. And she starts naming off horses I haven't thought of in 30 years. So that was amazing. And I said, did you find your honey? Because her husband predeceased her. And she said, yes. She looked like a teenager. Yes, he's here. I mean, it was so adorable. And then she says, coffee at 8? I said, yep, coffee at 8. Talk to you in the morning. So we always had coffee at 8 o'clock in the morning because she lived in Vegas and I live up in northwestern Nevada. And so I'd call her every morning at 8 o'clock and she'd say, so what are you doing? And she just still does that today. Nowadays I can hear her, what's on the calendar? Like she wants to be all over my business. I just love it. It's adorable.
That's just amazing.
Yeah. And I just put a horse down. It's been probably 2 weeks. I had to put a horse down and it was so bizarre. As she's crumpling, and of course she's, just probably not even aware, 2 golden holograms popped up right next to her. And those are the horses that I'd lost previously. And it was like, I said, oh, they're here. It was Maggie and Lacey. I said, they're both here. And the gal that was helping me, she goes, if you say so, because she couldn't see them, but it was like, they just popped up, just these beautiful golden holograms to take, to come and greet Duchess. And even though she was deceased, I swear I heard squealing, how they do that squealing and they take off running like they're just full of it. And it was so beautiful. It was beautiful. So. And,
wow.
And what's really funny is now they come in the house and I'll be in my office and it's sort of like I just get distracted and like out of the corner of my eye, I see horses running. And of course they're 4 feet off the ground and they look like holograms and they're just having a blast. They just want to make sure I know they're here. Isn't that funny?
It is.
So they're never gone.
Wow.
Geesh, I'd like to communicate with all the animals that I've had in the past. Oh my God.
Well, you can learn to do it. It's easy. You already have the abilities. It's just a matter of developing them. The only difference between me and somebody who says, like you, I want to do this, is I've just been doing it every freaking day for 35 years, for other people. And it's actually easier to learn to communicate with other people's animals before you do your own. Because you don't have any preconceived notions about, who and how they are.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
And you just follow the 7 steps in the book. It's just really easy to follow the 7 steps.
David Price says, I felt my almost 3-year-old niece over my shoulder when I kissed her goodbye in the hospital many years ago. She was in a coma for almost 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, see, she would have already been out of her body. Yeah, that happens. And it's really interesting because the vet, when he put this horse down, she went through me. The minute she hit the ground, she went through me. And it's a joygasm. I mean, it's like, it just is unbelievable feeling them go through you between the 3rd and heart chakra. It's incredible. It's a joygasm. That's the only way to describe it. It's rushes and rushes of joy up and down your body. And the vet's still sitting there with a stethoscope, waiting, waiting for her heart to stop. And I said, she's already gone. She was waiting for the physical to shut down. I felt the energetic leave. To me, the energetic is much more important. And I explained that to the vet. I said, their spirit or soul leaves their body sometimes, minutes, long time, minutes, sometimes hours before the body shuts down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
And when you're pertaining, what about humans?
Say that again, you were cutting out.
Because this is for in pertaining to animals, meaning sometimes their spirit leaves their body before the body shuts down. What about humans?
Oh, same thing.
Okay.
Oh, definitely same thing. Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
It is.
We have to remember we're 99% energy and only 1% physical.
Mhm.
We're just running around in little meat suits, right? Really.
Absolutely.
This is what drives me nuts about modern medicine is that all of allopathic medicine, diet, exercise, nutrition, all of that stuff is focused on the 1%. That makes no sense. Who's taking care of the energetic body? Nobody. Unless you
I
really
was
suck
going
it
to
out.
say, it's certainly not the physicians.
No. And it's really fun when you tell a vet or a doctor, well, you guys are working on the 1%, and I'm working on the other part. And they go, what? Well, how much is physical? How much is energetic? Well, it's 99% energy, only 1% physical. I said, we need you. We love you. We appreciate you, but you're only working on the 1%. So somebody's got to be working on the 99%. I have so many clients that were healed with energy healing. And you guys know that. You both do Reiki, you know what it's like. So there has to be more of it. And I always share 2 modalities that I was taught. And it's just saved people's lives. But the stuck negative emotions that cause dis-ease really are what people need to work on. And we're taught to suck it up all the time.
Mhm.
Just suck it up, move on. Don't let your emotions out. And that's what kills us, is stuck negative emotions. I mean, if you think about it, breast cancer is caused by heartbreak, heart disease, heartbreak. They actually have a disease now called broken heart syndrome.
Mhm.
And things in your neck is from not speaking your truth.
Mhm.
So that was thyroid, carotid, all that stuff. Anything in the head is fascinating to me because you can either be closed off spiritually. If it's in the front, like sinuses, that means third eye. I don't want to look at that stuff. If it's in the area of the auditory processing area above the ears, then I don't want to hear that stuff, right? And third chakra is solar plexus, so that's power, ego, and control. And people that get like pancreatic cancer, liver cancer, stomach cancer, those are all power, ego, and control issues because they either want to take other people's power or they feel powerless. And then almost everything in the lower abdomen is childhood stuff. It's childhood abuse or neglect, having their power taken away. I'm really jaded now because to me, disempowerment causes dis-ease, period. That's it. And there are things people can do to get their power back. It's too simple. It's too simple to take their power back.
Wow. I love the way you point all of that out because that is a lot of the, like you said, the dis-ease is energetic, not
all of it. Yeah.
But yet it's
yeah.
showing us that, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here? Got to look deeper.
Sure. Well, we just don't understand that dis-ease is disempowerment. I mean, really, it's just too simple. And, you tell people, write letters to those who took your power. Sam just asked that. Write letters to those who've taken your power and use your potty words too. Don't be nice. And then you burn the letters while you say out loud, nobody's ever going to treat me like that again. You cannot believe how different you feel when you do that. And I've worked with people where they go, well, I'm thinking I got at least 10 letters. Yeah, you do.
Is that all?
Yeah, I know. That's an easy one, right?
Yeah.
But we have to take our power back. And that letter writing is just so cathartic and so cleansing. And I've had people say, well, I tore it up. And I tell them, no, do it again and burn it. Because if I handed you a blank piece of paper and said, hey, go burn this, you wouldn't have a problem. But if I handed you 5 $100 bills and said, hey, go burn this, I would hope you'd have a problem and not want to do that. Because what's on the paper changes the energy of paper.
Mm-hmm.
So when we take our guts out of us, our anger, our rage, our feelings of disempowerment, and we put it on paper, we've changed the energy of the paper. So then it's just really important to burn it so that you transmute all that negativity and send it to the ethers.
Mm.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. I think that I've been telling people to do that for years.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah. And I know that
People.
all these things manifest as physical symptoms in the body. Just
Absolutely.
like
Absolutely.
thyroid problems, not being able to speak your truth, things like that. I mean, yeah, it all manifests in our physical body. And if we would identify that what is going on may not be totally physical, it may be the spiritual aspect or the energy aspect, then my goodness, look, we wouldn't need a lot of the medical doctor. We wouldn't need, well, I guess we would always need them for some reason, but we would not need them as much as we do.
Well, the thing is, if somebody's in a car accident, they don't want somebody doing energy healing. They need a freaking trauma surgeon.
Yeah.
We have to be appropriate here.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
If we've got an infection, if we've got some kind of a serious infection, we need antibiotics.
Mm-hmm. But there are times where we should not look outside of ourselves to be healed.
Here's the thing, and I think we've got to have the best of both. So if you end up with infection, you want antibiotics. You want whatever's going to help that to be healed physically. But then you want to go into the energetic, okay, why did I attract this infection? Why did I attract it? What am I not looking at? What part of the body is it in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to deal with both. You want to have that two-pronged approach to the healing.
Right. You don't want to just treat the physical body. You want to treat the spiritual body, the energy body.
If you break your ankle, you have to go, oh, what's the ankle issues? Ankles, that's unwillingness to move forward. Is that it? Unwillingness to move forward? Okay, what am I stuck on? So you go get a cast on or surgery or whatever it is, but then you work energetically on the cause so that it heals well.
Mm-hmm.
Because and this is why people end up with problems when they end up with a physical issue. They end up with problems because they're still not recognizing the cause. And I think it's one of the reasons why medicine has to come up with the word remission, because they don't really know what the cause is. So they're afraid it's going to come back. Well, if the person doesn't deal with the emotional cause, it's going to come back. It very well could come back.
Yeah.
So I think it's why we've got to have the best of both. But we need to people, it's like, as long as you're not drinking Drano, you're okay. You can have a couple pieces of candy or cookies, but too many people, they just take it. It's like, I'm only eating clean and I'm only going to eat organic. And it's like, God, you're taking all the joy away from it. Go have a cheesecake, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're taking all the joy out of life. It's really funny because I feel people on the other side all the time. They live vicariously through us while we eat, when we eat really good stuff, because there's, they don't need any food on the other side, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
That is funny. That's something I never even would think about.
Yeah, I know. Every time I make, I'm not going to brag here, but I make really cool mushroom beef barley soup. I can't wait for it to get cold so I can make it again. It's so thick and delicious, right? And every time I make it, my mom's right here. She's going, what are you doing? What are you sauteing the mushrooms? What's that? Is that garlic in there? Oh, Terri. Because she watches me cook it, no recipe, And It's really good soup, if I do say so myself. I mean, it's like I can't wait to make it. And sometimes I'll squirrel away packets of it in the freezer, even though it's summer, I'll pull a packet out and have some. It's so good. I just love it. So, they do miss the food, I think, but they have the memory of the food, which I think is just as strong as actually physically eating it. I really do. I think it's just as strong.
Wow.
That's so interesting. And beef and barley soup is one of my favorites. So never thought to add mushrooms to it.
I'll give you the recipe.
Yay. I will take it.
Okay.
I never thought to add mushrooms to it. But I'm really excited about that.
Oh, yeah. It's really good.
And if we can, because I know before we came on live, you also said that the autistic community has discovered you.
Yes. Yeah, it's because of the book, the Intuitive Communication. And I don't know if you guys have heard about the telepathy tapes, but it's a really cool podcast by Kai Dickens. And she's proved beyond a doubt that autistic people are telepathic. I mean, she's just proven it beyond a doubt. And so to me, just learning to be telepathic is not enough. You have all these intuitive abilities, you might as well develop them and use them. Because one of the first things I get when I tune into an autistic person is they send me smells and they ask me what I smell like. And I don't mean this in a negative way, just a purely factual way, that's what an animal will do. They say, how persons smell, that's what they want to know, how persons smell. And so some of the autistic people that I've dealt with, they want to know, one, where am I? How can they hear me? And two, what do I smell like? Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah.
And so I try to relay that as much as possible. But they're using senses that we ignore. That they truly are.
Well, I can understand that because, if you go blind, then your sense of hearing is heightened,
That's right.
So, if you lose one of your senses, the others try to compensate with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But many of their senses are so heightened. That's why they're so sensitive. It's why you see a lot of the kids walking around with headphones on, noise canceling headphones, because there's too much going in. And if they're telepathic, it's just everything is amplified. And it's just been really a blessing and a joy and a privilege to do that communication with those autistic people. The stuff they tell me is just mind-boggling. One time I got that this kid would only eat spaghetti with tomato juice on it. And I shared that. And of course, his mom said, oh, yeah, that's what he eats. And I said, it's because he has TMJ. She said, what? I said, yeah, he can't stand the clicking and popping when he chews. So he's got to have food he can just slurp and swallow.
Oh.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
So it's like there's rhyme and reason to all of it. So I think it's been very, very helpful because I'm really getting a big following of, autistic parents. I'm parents of autistic kids.
And that's so great because, we need more people who are able to do that for them.
Well, that's why I want to train people to do this. And that's why I've got that, my second book is Intuitive Communication. To me, telepathy is just going to be words, words, thoughts, mind to mind, and to me, that's sort of easy peasy. But if you use all your intuitive senses, you're going to get everything. You're going to get tastes and smells and sounds and feelings. Feelings can either be emotion, they can be pain, they can be tactile. Mm-hmm. You're going to get all of that. And I think you need that to get the whole picture of where these kids are and how they are and what's going on with them.
And where can our audience get your book?
On my website, just terrijay.com. All of the books are available there. They can book sessions, and I'm pretty reasonable, 50 and 90, half hour. I have openings usually right away, and they can even pick their day and time on the website, and they can sign up for training in the products page. So there's lots of ways that they can really benefit from me being able to share this knowledge. I love sharing it.
Yeah, I went to the website and I think that your prices are very reasonable and very nice.
Yeah, so I love helping people. I really have fun doing this. I'm kind of silly sometimes, but I really just love doing it.
And we have one question that we ask all of our guests. What message would you like to leave our audience with?
Just trust your intuition and develop your intuitive abilities. It'll give you a happier, healthier, more abundant life.
That's beautiful, beautiful.
Excellent.
Terri, it's been an honor to have you on our show. You're amazing.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was really fun working with you guys.
And I think the work that you do is I think it's amazing, especially for those who can't speak for themselves.
Right. It's really important.
It is. I swear it really is.
Yeah.
And when you write that next book, you'll have to come back on the show with your next book.
Yeah, it'll be about dog communication.
That's okay. I like that too.
Yeah.
You do plan on doing a kitty one too, right?
Yeah, it's dogs, horses, cats.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. You guys have been great.
Oh, we have so enjoyed you being on the show. Thank you so much for being on our show. And let me put up your website again one more time so that everybody can get it. There we go. It's www.terrijay.com. And that's where you can get the book or books, excuse me. And that's where you can also sign up for some classes, or you can sign up for some sessions. I think personally, I'm going to be going up there and checking it out again, and maybe book a little session or something with you.
Oh, I'd be happy to. That'd be so fun.
Yes, absolutely. So, well, everybody, we will see you again in 2 weeks. We have a special surprise in 2 weeks. Thank you so much to our audience. We love you, love you, love you. Without you, we wouldn't be here. So thank you so much. And here we go. Oh, wrong button. Sorry.
We hope you have enjoyed watching Soul Fire Ascension with Raven and Lisa Lovelight. You can also watch Soul Fire Ascension on YouTube and Rumble at Soul Fire Ascension, or listen to us on Spotify. Please like, share, and subscribe. Soul Fire Ascension is sponsored by RavensHealingarts.com.